Ratan has taken this bottom right hand corner. I'm sorry, I did not see that. He's just barely gotten that. He looks like he's had that for a while. Probes mining there. He's also just taken the top left hand corner. So what he's trying to do, I think, is just spread out AeriAL's forces, but AeriAL not falling for it at all. It's kind of like Ratan is playing Zerg here. He's just trying to throw up, you know, hatcheries all over the map and try to force the Terran player to pick off all the expansions before moving for the killing blow. But unlike Zerg, Protoss players cannot build units at Nexus, and so these Nexus really aren't that big of a threat to AeriALs. AeriALs knows if he just goes right for the jugular, takes out these gateways, he can end the game here and now, and that's exactly what he's going for. You can see that Ratan has placed on 2 more gateways in an attempt to get his macro going, but AeriAL's not really phased at all by that. I mean, just look how many factories he has. He has 8 factories, and he's got the 2-2 upgrade almost now. I believe I see those. Yeah, they're spinning and they're almost finished. And so now AeriAL's just coming in and doing the killing blow to Ratan. And Ratan just has no forces anywhere. Okay, there's his army. He has this force here. Looks like instead of trying to save his main base, which I think is a huge mistake, he's trying to counter this mineral-only expansion and try to do damage to AeriAL's economy. And while he has done a good job at taking out all the SCVs there and the command center, what's going to happen is that AeriAL's just going to reinforce, like you see here. He's just going to reinforce with units coming out of his factories to deal with this attack, while Ratan is losing the buildings that he reinforces from. And so what's going to happen here is that AeriAL's is just going to mop up these gateways, and then Ratan is just going to be left with the army he has left, the army standing. And AeriAL's just going to be able to keep macroing and just eventually whittle this army down to nothing. Good job by Ratan, taking out this 12 o'clock expansion. Again, just going to limit AeriAL's gas, but gas pretty much has the game in the bag at this point. He's moving on into the Protoss main base. He's taking out all the tech, all the gateways there, and that's really going to limit Ratan's production capabilities. You can see Ratan trying to replace his gateways up here at the top left-hand corner. You can see his minerals and his investment gas is just really huge right now, and he really could have gone for that some more tech at this point. He really needs arbiters or carriers at this point to kind of help him defeat this very strong 2-2 Terran army that's on the ground now, and all these gateways are just getting blown to shreds. So Ratan in a very, very poor position here. Dark Templar trying to take out the Siege Shanks, gets Siege Shank and Dark Templar vaporized under concentrated Siege Shank fire. And the main base just almost mined out for Ratan. Again, I just feel like if Ratan had just focused on the bases he had and mining those effectively, and then using those resources effectively, he could have had more tech than what he did, because he had this double gas. He had this double gas for a long, long time. Just didn't really utilize it too well. And so now AeriAL's also breaking into the Protoss expansion here at the 9 o'clock location with vultures. And gonna take out the expansion here with just pure bolts, no siege shanks required. And so now pretty much what is going to happen here is that AeriAL's just pretty much going to do mop up. Dark Templar are going to get caught by spider mines. One actually survives while most of the vulture force gets taken out. That's going to hurt, but taking out those gateways was more important for AeriAL's. Taking out those gateways is going to limit Ratan from being able to produce enough troops to come back in this game. And Ratan actually trying to save his 9 o'clock location, and decides to retreat most of his forces. He's going to try to take out the rest of these vultures with 4 dragoons. Meanwhile, AeriAL's trying to push up into the top left-hand corner. Sonic Storm going off. You really don't see that too much in PvT games, and really you should see a lot more Sonic Storm, because Siege Shanks are always grouped together, Vultures are always grouped together, and not to mention Sonic Storm is great for harassing Protoss, for Terran peon lines, for just going after those SCVs and taking them out instantly. Unlike Reavers, Reavers are good for a surprise in the beginning for trying to hurt the Terran economy, because Reavers come faster than High Templar, but High Templar are definitely the bread and butter of a Protoss army for taking out any sort of economy and any sort of ground army as well. Now you can see the Siege Shanks are all clumped up here. A couple of speed lots would have sufficed, dragging some of those mines amongst those Siege Shanks. Now AeriAL is just reinforcing with more vultures. I don't really expect this game to go on too much longer. Ratan is pretty much gathering up the last bit of his forces. He's lost his main base. Well, he hasn't really lost his main base. He lost all the probes there, though. Lost most of his gateways. He's not even utilizing that very well. He's lost somehow those. One vulture survives the onslaught between the 4 dragoons, and this base is still under siege technically because of the one vulture. And now AeriALs just slowly pushing up into the top left-hand corner, and I don't think Ratan is going to be able to hold out too much longer. Just I mean, there's not too much he's going to come. He also got speed lots somewhat late as well, and now trying to control his army had them just a little bit too close. Vultures coming in, going to pick off those high Templar before they can merge into an Archon. Great job by AeriALs. Good micro, good sniping right there. Now Ratan still desperately fighting, trying to hold his front door, but he's got to realize that there's, I mean, I don't want to be pessimistic here, but he's got to realize that there's no hope, that there's no way he's going to be able to stop the Terran Juggernaut from taking the expansions. Just keep the fight going and just keep harassing him at his top left-hand corner. And he's also running out of minerals. He had a large stockpile, but because of the small number of probes here, which are now growing even smaller due to the vulture presence in the area, just vultures just living up to their name, a vulture just eating those probes alive, just swooping down, picking them off, and just thinning their numbers. And so now it looks like Chink's coming in, picking off that Dark Templar, and looks like Ratan is going to go ahead and GG. So game 2 also goes to AeriALs. So we're going to be going on to game 3 between AeriALs and Ratan.